Hey guys, welcome back to Under the Radar Books. I'm Brittany, and today I want to do a book haul. Sorry, my voice is still a little bit gone. It's better than it was, but I am just recovering from some laryngitis. So anyways, I have tons of book hauls to show you guys. My birthday was last week, and then I asked for books for Christmas as well, so this month is going to be very haul heavy. Let's see. The first book I have here is The Catalyst by Helena Coggan. And really cool cover. And all it says on the back is true evil is impossible to hide. And this follows a young girl and her father, and they live in a world where it's separated with magical people and non-magical people. And her father works at kind of a place, like a ministry type place, like in Harry Potter, where he's a magical person who is dealing with law enforcement and things like that. And so this sounds really interesting. I haven't heard very much of it. I think the second book just came out recently, but I found this just while browsing on Books in one of my favorite shops, and the cover really grabbed me, and then once I read what it was about, I really wanted to give it a try. So if I like this one, I will definitely be continuing on with the series. Next is a book that just came out recently. This was on my wish list on Book Depository, and I found it for just a couple dollars on Books, and it is Arrivals by Brian Gallagher. And the top right here says, how long can a secret be kept? It says, a mystery, a friendship, and a crime. When teenager Sierra Farrelly visits her dead grandfather's Ontario home, she uncovers a secret from his childhood. Back in 1928, 12-year-old Mike Farrelly made friends with Wilson, a lonely rich boy whose family had immigrated from Ireland, and Lucy, a feisty girl from a local reserve. The three spent the bright, warm summer holidays having adventures together. But then a murder was committed, and Mike, Wilson, and Lucy found themselves in danger. Suddenly they had to trust each other, not only with their secrets, but with their lives. Follow their story with Sierra as she traces its echo down the years and finds out what really happened one summer long ago. So I thought that this was really interesting. I think I found this one just on Book Depository, looking around, and really liked the description of it. It's got a cool cover, and it is published by O'Brien, so it's kind of a small publisher as well. Next is a graphic novel. This is called Sheltered, a pre-apocalyptic tale, and this is volume 1. This follows a community of survivalists who are trying to prepare for an apocalypse that they believe is coming, and they're raising their children to do the same. And what actually happens is that the kids kind of go crazy and actually end up killing their parents, and there's no apocalypse as far as I can tell. But it's interesting because there's really nobody out there. They're kind of a cult-like group, and so they're out on their own, so there's really no way for people to know that such a tragedy has taken place. So sounds really interesting. I haven't heard much about it. It's just got, typical like comic type style drawings, and it's published by Image, so I'll keep you guys posted on that one. Next is a memoir called The Last Act of Love by Kathy Rensenbrink. This follows Kathy's story as a young girl when her brother was killed in an accident and things that followed after that. I think it follows her struggles with love and dealing with that tragedy. So I know it's going to be difficult to read, and it's going to be pretty heartbreaking. But I do want to read more memoirs and more nonfiction, so this is definitely one I will be picking up in the new year. Next up is a middle grade novel, or YA, I can't remember. It's A River Keep by Martin Stewart, and this is another really stunning cover. This was on my wish list this year, and I haven't really heard a lot about it on BookTube or otherwise. This is in a magical land where it seems like Will and his father are keepers of the river, and it talks about them fishing corpses from it, so I'm not sure where that plays in, but Will's father actually contracts some sort of virus, and the cure is supposedly held inside of this ancient sea creature, so Will searches for this creature to try to find a cure for his father. So sounds really whimsical and magical, and I really love middle grade because they're usually fast reads and fun reads, and I can't wait to get to this one. So next is an ARC copy of Emperor of the Eight Islands by Leanne Hearn. This is by the author who wrote Across the Nightingale Floor, which is a YA fantasy series, and I honestly don't know what this is about. I've seen a couple people talking about it. I know that it deals a lot with folklore and legend, things like that, and so I'm definitely excited to get to it. I'm assuming that it is also in the fantasy genre, so I'll be interested to find out some more about that. Next up is The Mayor by Mary Gaitskill. This follows a elder married couple who decides to join a program that sends inner city kids to live with people who live in the country. So they take in some orphans and basically parent them and care for them. And I've heard that this is really powerful and pretty heartbreaking, but I've really heard some great things about it, so I definitely will be picking it up soon. Next is Every Mountain Made Low by Alex White. So this sounds like it follows a young girl named Loxley who can see the dead. It's also set in like a dystopian world, and so it sounds like there's lots of interesting elements to it. I love books where the characters can see ghosts or spirits, and so I'm really interested to get to this one. This is another one that I really haven't heard too much about. Another really cool cover. So I'm excited to get to this one as well. Next is one that probably doesn't need that much explanation. This is A Spool of Blue Thread by Ann Tyler. This was nominated for the Man Booker Prize this year. And all I know is that it's a contemporary literary fiction book. I don't know much else about it. I'm sure it follows characters that have to deal with love and loss and tragedy. I have never read Ann Tyler before, and I've heard pretty good things about this, so I definitely wanted to snag a copy. Next up is a book I heard about on Amy's channel. Shout Amy, and I will link that down below. It's called The Wave by Morton Rue, and this was originally published, I think, in the 50s or 60s, and I know it's taught in a lot of schools, but I actually have never heard of it before. And this is based on a Nightmare's True episode in a California high school where a group of students basically started to go crazy and like created a fanatical like group, and that's why they call it The Wave. So I think it's really interesting, and I think Amy enjoyed it. I can't remember if she really liked it or not, but I think it's going to be a powerful read nonetheless. Next is Used to Be by Elizabeth Baines, and this is a really cool concept. It follows a woman who is basically having a near-death experience, and she is about to be in a car accident, and her life is flashing before her eyes, and each short story that's in this collection basically goes down a different option of her life. So I think that's really interesting. So it's basically like a novel in short stories, and Elizabeth Baines is an author I've really been wanting to try. The majority of her books are published by Salt, who I absolutely love, so I'm excited to get this one. It's nice and short too, so I think I'll be picking it up pretty soon. Next up is a thriller called The Passenger by Lisa Lutz. The blurb on the front says, "Even if you change your name, you can't forget what you've done." And the back is really intriguing as well. It says, "In case you were wondering, I didn't do it. I don't have an alibi, so you'll have to take my word for it." With her husband's body still warm, Tanya Dubois only has one option: to run. When the police figure out that she doesn't officially exist, they'll start asking questions she can't answer. Desperate to keep the past buried, she adopts and sheds identities as she flees. Along the way, she meets a cop with an unknown motive and a troubled woman who sees through her disguise and who may be friend or foe. But ultimately, she is alone, and the past can no longer be ignored. So I've heard really good things about this, really fast-paced, and I love a good thriller here and there, so I'm excited to get to that one also. So next is The House at the Edge of the World by Julia Rochester. This follows a couple teenagers whose father actually falls from a cliff near their family home. It follows their struggles with the loss as well as their mother's struggles, and I believe their grandfather believes in some sort of legend on the island and is fascinated with creating an ancient map or something of the sort. But I've heard really good things about it. Lots of really great authors that I love have blurbed good things about it, and another great cover. Really excited to get to this one. I love books that are set on islands, especially like family dramas. For some reason, I feel like it's such an interesting setting to tell a story, so I'm excited for that. And the last book is a nonfiction. It is called The Science of Monsters: Why Monsters Came to Be and What Made Them So Terrifying. And this is by Matt Kaplan. And this doesn't really need much of an explanation because it's exactly what it says. It follows the science of monsters, where the legends came from, why we're always so scared of them, and why they continue to be relevant today. So I'm really excited to get to this one also. I'm not a huge nonfiction reader, but I'm trying to read more, like I said. So this definitely sounds like something that will keep me interested. So these are all the books that I got for my birthday from my parents, and this will be December book haul part 1. Let me know if you guys have read any of these, or if you're going to pick them up shortly, if they're new to you and you want to get to them. Let me know. I would love to hear in the comments down below, and I hope you guys are having a great holiday. Until next time, happy reading!